Hollywood just got a whole lot messier. Yes, Mowry, the beloved actress we all grew up watching, has finally reached her breaking point. And this time, it's not only about Cory Hardrict. A jaw-dropping voice note allegedly leaked by Cory's new wife has made its way online. What's being said in this recording is so explosive, it could completely change everything we thought we knew about their divorce. Fans are left stunned. The internet is split down the middle. And T.I.'s reaction? Let's just say it's bad. So bad that everyone is now wondering, did Cory and his new wife finally cross the line? Stick with me because what we're about to dig into will absolutely blow your mind. Let's dive straight in. For months, Mowry and Cory Hardrict's fans have been trying to piece together what really happened behind their messy breakup. What once appeared to be a calm, respectful divorce has now spiraled into a full-blown public spectacle. And just when it seemed like the drama might be settling down, a shocking new twist has stirred everything up again. Recently, an alleged voice note appeared online, supposedly leaked by Cory's new wife, and the contents have everyone raising eyebrows. T.I.'s reaction to this leak has been nothing short of explosive, leaving fans both alarmed and shocked. The situation has shifted from complicated to flat-out scandalous, and social media simply cannot stop buzzing about it. In this video, we're breaking down exactly what was said in that voice note, why T.I.'s response has people convinced she's finally snapped, and how this ongoing drama is affecting not only T.I. and Cory, but also their kids and their careers. Believe me, you do not want to miss this, because this story has so many layers that will leave you speechless. To understand why everyone is so invested, we need to rewind back to the beginning. At one point, Mowry and Cory Hardrict were seen as one of Hollywood's strongest couples. Their love story felt straight out of a romance movie. They first met in the early 2000s, when T.I. was already a household name thanks to Sister, while Cory was still grinding in Hollywood, struggling to make a name for himself. In interviews, Cory often shared how T.I. and her family embraced him during a time when he had very little. He didn't own a car, he didn't have steady work, but he had ambition. And according to him, T.I. admired his drive and his humility. Their relationship took its time to grow. After dating for several years, they finally tied the knot in 2008. Fans loved the way they seemed to balance one another. T.I., the bubbly and successful actress with a huge following, and Cory, the humble and hardworking actor carving out his own path. Over the years, they became a true symbol of Black love in Hollywood. Social media was filled with glimpses of their family life, their kids, and affectionate posts celebrating their relationship. T.I. and Cory often emphasized that they worked hard to keep their marriage private and away from the chaos of Hollywood. And for a long while, it seemed to work. But as we know, even the strongest love stories can hide cracks beneath the surface. While the public saw a perfect picture, behind the scenes there were whispers of disagreements, clashing career priorities, and shifting views on family life. By 2022, fans were blindsided when T.I. announced that after 14 years of marriage, she had filed for divorce. The announcement came across as polite, maybe even too polite. T.I. put out a heartfelt message about love, growth, and moving forward, while Cory, at the time, stayed mostly quiet. Fans assumed it was an amicable breakup, the kind where both sides simply part ways peacefully. But as we're learning now, things were far from as simple as they looked, and this is where the story gets interesting. Because once the divorce was finalized, Cory moved on quicker than anyone had expected. That's when the real drama started to unfold. After the announcement, most people figured T.I. and Cory would quietly focus on their kids and careers, staying out of the spotlight. But almost immediately, people began noticing that Cory seemed to be moving forward a little too fast. Let's be honest here. Divorce is rarely clean-cut. When two people decide to end a marriage, it's usually after months, even years, of private issues that the public doesn't see. But what shocked fans was how soon Cory showed up with someone new, and not just anyone, but the woman who would later become his wife. At first, Cory kept everything low-key. He wasn't flooding social media with selfies or bold statements. But you know how quickly online detectives work? Fans began putting the pieces together from little hints. A like here, a comment there, a mysterious hand in the corner of a picture. Slowly, people realized Cory was seeing someone new. And once he finally went public, the backlash was immediate. Social media blew up with mixed opinions. Some people defended him, saying he had every right to move on after a failed marriage. But others, especially T.I.'s loyal supporters, felt he was being disrespectful, moving on far too soon and maybe even starting the relationship while still married. Don't forget, T.I. has a huge fan base that's been with her since her sister days. Many of them feel protective of her, so they weren't just questioning Cory's choices, they were questioning his entire character. Memes flooded timelines, TikTok creators picked apart the timeline, and Twitter turned into a hub of speculation. Did Cory cheat? Did his new wife have anything to do with the downfall of his marriage to T.I.A.? And through all of it, T.I. remained remarkably quiet. She stayed focused on her kids, her career projects, and her personal growth. She shared posts about self-love, healing, and moving forward. Fans praised her for her grace, but at the same time, it only fueled harsher criticism of Cory. The clash between Cory's new relationship and T.I.A.'s silence created a firestorm online. Every move his new wife made was scrutinized. Every post, every caption, every public appearance became a point of debate. And slowly, whispers turned into full-blown accusations. But then came the breaking point, the moment that turned this from a messy Hollywood breakup into something that felt like a full-on scandal. That breaking point was the leaked voice note. And trust me, this is where things take a turn for the worse. Up until then, the situation between T.I. Mowry, Cory Hardrict, and his new wife was messy. Sure, but still somewhat contained. Fans were speculating, timelines were under the microscope, but nothing truly explosive had surfaced. That is, until the voice note dropped online. So let's break down how this all began. According to multiple online sources, the alleged voice note first popped up in a private fan forum before spreading like wildfire across platforms like TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Within just hours, it was everywhere, with thousands of fans dissecting every single word. So what exactly was in this voice note? While I can't play it here, reports claim the recording featured Cory's new wife speaking openly about T.I.A. in a way that left fans stunned. In the audio, she allegedly implied that T.I. was bitter over the divorce and even suggested that Cory had mentally checked out of the marriage long before it officially ended. She reportedly went further, saying T.I. needed to stop playing the victim and move on, because Cory was happier now than he had ever been. For T.I.'s supporters, those words felt nothing short of insulting. Here was a woman who had only just entered the picture, allegedly tearing down someone who had spent over a decade building a family with Cory. The tone of the message, if real, wasn't just dismissive, it was deeply personal. And it didn't end there. Some fans who claimed to have heard the uncut version of the note alleged that Cory's new wife also hinted at private details about their marriage that had never been made public before. She supposedly suggested that Cory had been under emotional strain for years, and that T.I.A. cared more about her career and public image than about keeping their home life stable. Whether those claims were true or not, the fact they were shared so bluntly in such an unfiltered way immediately set social media on fire. Within hours, hashtags like #TeamTIA and #CoryHardrict were trending everywhere. T.I.'s fans accused Cory's wife of being heartless and intentionally targeting a woman who had already endured the pain of a public divorce. Others, though, defended Cory's wife, insisting she had every right to voice her side of the story. The debate was fierce, and once again, T.I. found herself at the center of the storm despite not having spoken a single word. But silence eventually turned into an eruption. T.I. Mowry, who had been graceful, quiet, and intent on moving forward, finally snapped. And when she did, the internet could not look away. For months following the divorce, T.I. had been the very picture of grace, focusing on healing, self-love, and co-parenting, avoiding drama or public mudslinging. Fans admired her resilience, calling her the blueprint for how to handle a breakup under the spotlight. But even the strongest people reached their breaking point. And for T.I.A., that moment came with the leaked voice note. Not long after the audio started spreading online, eagle-eyed fans noticed T.I.A. posting cryptic messages on her social media. At first, they looked like simple affirmations. Things like protecting my peace at all costs and silence is powerful. But sometimes the truth speaks louder. But quickly, followers began interpreting these as subtle shots aimed at Cory and his new wife. Then came the moment no one expected. T.I. went live on Instagram. Speaking directly to her fans, her voice carried the raw honesty, frustration, and exhaustion that only comes when someone has been pushed beyond their limits. Without calling out names, T.I. made it clear she was tired of being painted as bitter, tired of outsiders trying to rewrite her marriage story, and tired of being disrespected when all she ever wanted was peace. She made it clear that just because she had chosen not to air out dirty laundry during the divorce, it didn't mean she didn't have receipts. At one point, looking straight into the camera, she declared, "I gave everything to that marriage. I sacrificed, I compromised, and I stayed longer than I probably should have. So for anyone to try to diminish my role, my love, or my commitment, that's not just unfair. It's cruel." Fans were floored. This wasn't the calm, collected TIA they were used to seeing. This was a woman who had been deeply hurt and who finally decided she was done staying silent. The comment section blew up with waves of support, messages like, "We believe you," "Queen, don't let them silence your truth," and "You deserve better" flooded her live stream. But what really set the internet ablaze was when T.I. hinted she knew far more than the public realized. She said, "People can say whatever they want, but at the end of the day, truth always finds its way to the surface. And when it does, everyone will finally see things for what they really are." That one line alone sent shockwaves through social media. Was she implying Cory's new relationship overlapped with their marriage? Was she pointing to betrayals the public had no clue about? Almost instantly, gossip blogs, entertainment pages, and news outlets began blasting headlines like, "Mowry breaks silence and T.I. fires back after explosive voice. No, the tea that'll leave you shook." Her live session was reposted everywhere, racking up millions of views within hours. Meanwhile, Cory and his new wife stayed completely silent. No denials, no statements, no clarifications. And that silence only poured gasoline on the fire. Many fans saw it as guilt, as proof that the voice note was authentic, and that T.I.'s frustration was absolutely justified. Here's the kicker. T.I.'s emotional response didn't just spark sympathy. It also split the internet even further. Some felt she was finally standing up for herself, refusing to let anyone tarnish her image. Others argued that by speaking out, she was feeding into the drama and essentially proving her critics right. One thing was undeniable. T.I.'s snap turned the situation from a simmering scandal into a full-blown explosion, and the ripple effects are still shaking things up. Her choice to finally break her silence triggered a chain reaction that nobody could ignore. The leaked voice note may have lit the match, but her fiery response turned it into a roaring inferno that dominated headlines across the world. Let's start with the fans. Almost immediately after her live, social media became a war zone. On one side were the loyal supporters rallying behind TIA, pushing hashtags like #WeStandWithTIA and #RespectBlackWomen to trend. They praised her bravery for finally speaking up and showing the raw, unfiltered truth of how deeply she'd been hurt. To them, this wasn't just celebrity drama, it was about a woman reclaiming her voice after years of being dismissed and disrespected. But of course, not everyone stood in her corner. Some critics pointed out that T.I.'s livestream revealed she wasn't as healed as she had been claiming. They accused her of feeding the drama, giving her ex and his new wife exactly the kind of attention they were after. Others even suggested that TIA was trying to take control of the story because she couldn't stand watching Cory move on and find happiness. While controversial, these takes only poured more gasoline on the fire of online debates. Naturally, the media had a field day. Major outlets like TMZ, The Shade Room, and People magazine quickly grabbed the story, with headlines screaming about TIA, Mowry's explosive reaction, and Cory Hardrict being dragged into the middle of a brand new scandal dissected by gossip blogs. Everywhere. Every moment of T.I.'s live stream was scrutinized, her words compared side by side with the supposed contents of the leaked voice note. Some journalists even argued this entire ordeal might signal a shift in how celebrity divorces are perceived in the age of social media, where keeping anything private has become nearly impossible. Hollywood insiders weighed in too. A handful of anonymous sources claimed that T.I. had stayed silent for so long to protect her children, but the blatant disrespect in that leaked note left her with no other choice. Others hinted that Cory's camp was working overtime to minimize the fallout, fearing that his image as a devoted family man was quickly slipping away. Remember, Cory has long been seen as a steady, no-drama actor who avoided controversy, and this kind of scandal doesn't fit that reputation at all. And then there's the effect on his new wife. Before all of this, she was largely unknown, but now she's right in the center of one of the hottest scandals in Hollywood. News. Some fans painted her as the villain, the homewrecker, the woman who disrespected TIA. Others showed sympathy, saying she was being unfairly pulled into a storm she hadn't entirely created. Either way, her image has been reshaped by this controversy, and repairing her public reputation won't be simple. Meanwhile, T.I.'s career has ironically gotten a lift from the attention. Brand deals, interviews, and new bookings started rolling in, with companies eager to attach themselves to her message of resilience, empowerment, and strength. Sometimes scandal ends up shining an even brighter light on celebrities, and for TIA, it reminded people exactly why they admired her in the first place. But here's what makes it even more intriguing. Throughout all the noise, Cory himself has stayed almost completely silent. No interviews, no statements, no social media posts, no efforts to clarify. And that silence has only made the situation more mysterious. Is he keeping quiet to shield his new wife? Is he avoiding throwing more fuel onto the fire? Or could the silence itself be taken as an unspoken confirmation that the leaked voice note was real? Fans remain split, but one thing is becoming obvious: Cory is losing control of his own story. And as the dust begins to settle, a bigger question comes forward: what happens next? Because if there's one thing history has taught us about Hollywood scandals, it's that they almost never fade away quietly.